Hey y'all, this is my 2018 Ram 1500 Tradesman with the 3.6 liter V6, and we're going to change the oil in this today. So if you haven't changed the oil in one of these, the filter's in a slightly different spot than you're probably used to. You're going to need a 1/2-inch wrench to remove the plug from the oil pan, and you need a 15/16 wrench to get the cover for the oil filter off. The oil filter is this thing right there in the middle of the screen, right there, and that is a 15/16 little knob there on the top that will unscrew, and your filter is inside of there. See, it fits nicely and just rotates. The offset on this is perfect, so it slides right between the two hoses there. And until it's loose enough for you to remove it by hand. And there's that nasty filter. This just pulls out. It's just stuck in there. This right here, this is a gasket. So you're going to have a new filter and a new gasket in the box. Here's a Mobile 1. I like these. It's supposed to be good for 20,000 miles when you use synthetic oil, which means every other oil change. I typically change it every time anyway. But here's the new filter and the new gasket. Okay, so I pulled the old filter out, and I just used a screwdriver to pull that off. And the new one just snaps on, just stretches over the top of this and snaps right into place. A little hard to do one-handed. Give me just a second. I wanted you to actually see this. This is not where it goes. You can see this nice groove right here. That's where the gasket fits into place. So, yeah, make sure it's seated properly, and that's it. Okay, so now the filter will just pop into there. You can see it just snaps onto that little round piece right there in the middle. And it's on. It's ready to go in. Just reverse the process. Now this just screws into place there. Tighten it down with your 15/16. Not too tight. This is plastic that will break if you twist it too hard. That's back in place. Again, just snug it, not too tight. I didn't show you, but you might want to just dab a little oil on that O-ring, just to make sure that it seats properly as it goes in. But between the O-ring and the threaded cap, I mean, that's not going to work loose. That's not going to come off. It's not going to leak. I like this design. I don't like that being plastic, because the heat will eventually break it down and it'll fall apart and you have to replace it. But it is what it is. Take the good with the bad. All right, don't judge how dirty my truck is, but to get to your oil plug, if you just go right behind the passenger side front wheel, it's right here. 1/2-inch wrench, and it's not 13 millimeter, it's 1/2-inch. It's actually good old American English standard. And just take that loose and drain the oil out. Okay, I like to let my oil drain for probably 30 minutes or so, get as much out as I can. I didn't tell you, if you've never changed oil before, keep a hold on this thing. The oil start leaking out, but keep a good firm grip on it, or you're gonna lose it in your tub there, your collection tub for the oil, and you got to dig around in there and try to get it out like I just had to do, and that's not any fun. But then you just hand tighten this back in, 1/2-inch wrench back on there, get them snug, and on these, that's, I mean, it tightens down and it's there and it's in. So we are good to go. Ready to put some oil back in it. To fill with oil, here on the driver's side of the motor, Here's your oil fill. About a half a turn and it pops right out. You will need a funnel. I've got one here that I use for this. It is one I made and it works just fine. So I want to show you something real quick before I put the oil in there. Some people still don't know this. No matter whether you buy your oil in a single quart like this can or a 5 quart like this one, you'll notice the spout is offset to one side. And a lot of people like to try to pour their oil in like this with the spout down. That makes the air have to fight its way through the oil coming out, and it will glug and go everywhere and make a mess. So you don't do it that way. You pour it this way with the spout on top. It will pour out nice and smooth, and you won't have any problems making a mess. So we're going to add 5 quarts. This one's not going in. I just have 2 5-quart jugs, so I want to put in 6 quarts total of oil here, and we'll be filled back up. We'll check for leaks and be on our way. Okay, after I put the first 5 quarts in, I always like to check the oil level before I put in the last little bit, make sure where I think we ought to be. And we are just at the bottom of the dipstick, which tells me it needs about another quart. So we'll put that back in. I'm going to add 1 more quart, and we'll double check. We'll crank up and make sure we have no leaks. I want to show you something before, real quick. Here, there are these little lines, liters and quarts. This holds 5 quarts. If you have lines here, 4 lines. So when you get down to this one, that's 4 quarts left. So you know you've put 1 quart in. This actually calls, I think, for 5.9 quarts. So we're going to shoot for somewhere just above the line on this other jug of motor oil. All right, so just show you real quick. Right up to the right, exactly full. So let's crank the truck and check for leaks. Crank now. Nothing leaking around the oil filter cap. And we'll check under here. No leaks there. Nothing dripping. It all looks good. We're all done. Ready for our trip. And that is how you change the oil in a 2018 Dodge 1500 equipped with the 3.6 liter V6. Yeah, it's a small motor, still makes 300 horsepower. And I get around here like 22, 23, 24 miles to the gallon. On the highway, get between 28 and 30. So eat your hearts out. See y'all later.